Growing up, I thought I had so much time in the world, not knowing that there'll come a time where I'd realize that time is running out.
Kamikaze, oh God, said I follow God, I ain't sorry. All my riches up in heaven tryna
Welcome, beloved. It's Jay the Preacher here. Matthew 21 verse 28, and it speaks about the parable of the sons. And there's something interesting about this chapter and the verse, because when we see the parable of the sons, we're gonna get through a part where we're gonna see that it sounds really relatable to so many of us. So there's before the parable of the sons, before it even got to that point, it was an argument and a discussion between Jesus and the religious leaders and the elders, because they had a very huge burden in their hearts, because they felt like if these people keep on listening to this person who's called Jesus, this is going to take away those people away from them, because they just wanted them to keep on believing in rules, keep on believing in religion, and Jesus came to change that. You get it? Jesus came to give salvation. Jesus came to give them hope and to show them that these rules and regulations and religion that they have put so much focus in, is gonna eventually come to a waste, because everything that they were doing was, they weren't impressing God, but they thought they were. You get me? So now we see that the parable of the two sons, we see that there's one son that was sent to go to the field by his father. And the thing with this son is that this son was like, no, the son refused. It's in Matthew 21 verse 28. The son refused to go and work in the field. But then later on, the scripture says, son realized that no, this thing that my father told me of me going to work in the field is now becoming a burden. Let me just do it. Later on, the son did it. The son did go to the field. Now, the second son went to the field. But before he went to the field, the father told the second son, go to the field and work. You know what the second son said? The second son was like, yes, sir, I will go work in the field. But later on, he did it. Reminder, the first son went to the field and did what? He did work. Later on, but the second son accepted. He said, yes, father, I'll go work in the field, but he did it. This shows us, that the first son was close to the father, not by just saying I'm close to my father, I love my father, but you could see through the actions, that even if the father was, telling him to do something the father knows he's not comfortable in doing, he still did it. Now the second son was close to the father just by the mouth. Meaning that the second son was only close to the father by saying, I love my father, I love him and stuff, but his actions differ. Meaning that the first son loved his father, not by words, but through actions. The second son loved the father through words, not by action. And I feel like in this time and in the generation that we are in now, most of the time we are the second son. We tell God that yes, I'm going to spread the gospel. Yes, I'm going to read. Yes, I'm going to do this and that for you. But we don't. We just say it through words. We say it just for the fun of saying. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as, let's say, for example, I grew up in a Christian house. I grew up in a very godly house. But now it's a must for me to go to church. But I'm not going to church. I'm not going to church for as in like something that I want to do. You get me? It's like I'm being forced to go to church. I'm just there because, to make my dad happy, to make my mom happy. But deep down in my heart, I'm very far away from God. And I feel like so many of us are in a position where we are just the second son. We say we're going to spread the gospel, but we don't. And the thing is, time is running out. Time is running out. I don't know which son do you want to be. I don't know which son do you want to be, but for those of us who are the second son and are trying to change our way, even if you know that, God, that I'm a very shy person, I don't like people, but later on I'm gonna eventually do it. Later on I'll eventually spread the gospel. It's better than being the second son. It's better than being the second son, because the second son always says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they don't. And the thing is, in Matthew 31 or 30 to 31, Jesus also goes deeper and he says, what does he say? He says, the tax collectors and the prostitutes who will enter the kingdom of heaven in front of us. Meaning, Jesus took the two lowest people back then in their time, which was being a tax collector and being a prostitute. If you are a tax collector or a prostitute, you are going to be looked at as the biggest sinner. So God took these two, people, being a tax collector and being a prostitute, and telling us, yes, us, the people who always think that the fact that we are always going to church, the fact that we are always, we're always going to church, we think that we have a relationship with God, we think that we're going to go to heaven or get into heaven, not knowing that we actually need to take time and realize that we have to build a relationship. So Jesus was showing them, those people, the religious leaders and the elders, because they believed that they were close to God. They were close, but they weren't. That's the thing, they weren't close to God. So Jesus took tax collectors and the prostitutes to try and show the religious leaders and the elders that these two people will enter the kingdom of heaven in front of you. Because these two people, even if they ignore, even if they don't do what God tells them to do, later on they'll eventually do it. They will eventually do it. So it's better to be the first son, knowing very well that, Lord, I'm a shy person, Lord, I don't do stages, Lord, I don't do, God will actually see, now this person that I'm about to send deals with this and that, so let me just fix them in this area so that I can now send them. It's better than being the second son, someone who can just go to church and say, yes, off, I went to church, but knowing deep down I'm not close to God. So what I'm trying to say is that we should change from being, not even choose which son are you. We should change from being the second son, because we are. The second son is the person who likes, pretending as if they know everything about God, pretending as if they have a solid relationship with God, and actually become the first son. So I ask the question, which one are we? Which one are you? Which one do you want to become? Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, man, let's just let's adjust and stop being the second son. The talent and the gift that you have, or the passion that you have, you can use that to glorify. You can use that to glorify. If you're a fashion model, it's okay. You can also, be a fashion model and promote and represent God at the same time. It is possible. It is. You can't have all the glory to yourself, or you can't have one perspective and put God, out of it. Because without God, that thing is going to fall. You see? So yeah. Are y'all still working with me or?
Yeah. We're still working with you.
It's good because the more y'all, walk with me, the more y'all will get to, walk with Christ. Because the more you walk with me, the more I speak about Christ, and the more I speak about Christ, I sound like Him.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Yo, Jay. Yo, we forgot something.
Oh yeah, my bad. Which one are you? Think about it.
Faith on me, wanna make it RV. How they playing God-fearing music